What's up everyone, Lord Brodyark here, back with another Final Fantasy XIV video. I haven't been posting much as I haven't had a whole lot to say that I haven't already said, but that's changed after the latest live letter for patch 7.5 announcing the new limited job Beastmaster. Look, I want to be excited for this, I really do. And I understand that treating Beastmaster as a piece of side content rather than a legitimate new job is the better way of looking at it, but I'm sorry, I simply do not like the concept of limited jobs. But anyways, let's get into it. First, we have the summary of what kind of job Beastmaster is. Beastmaster will be a melee damage job that uses an axe, to the surprise of no one who's seen Lion in Boja or seen Beastmaster in Final Fantasy XI. Also, I get that this job outfit is based on the one from 11, but it looks ridiculous. Could they not have made anything better? Whatever, I'll just glamour something else on top of it. But here's a more important question. Why is the level cap only 50? Maybe this was acceptable when Blue Mage released in Stormblood, but the current level cap is 100, not 70. Perhaps this decision was made to reduce the amount of leveling you would need to do for the job, but if that was a concern, why not make it start at a higher level? Plenty of other jobs start at levels higher than level 1, so why not Beastmaster? Some might think this doesn't matter, but this limits what content Beastmaster will be able to engage with. If it's only level 50, that means anything outside of a Realm Reborn is off limits. And while they likely will eventually update Beastmaster to be a higher level, this is extremely limiting for the launch of this new job. Get it? Limiting? No? Okay. Next, we have how the beast system itself will function. You capture beasts, then bring up to 3 of them into battle with you, basically what you'd expect. Well, again, this was to be expected. Is this really any different than Blue Mage's spellbook? You run around and collect all of the things before playing a piece of side content that requires you bring the correct ones. And we'll get to that side content in a moment. But isn't this just a fancy version of the already existing trust system? We don't have any information on what this instinct system is, but if it doesn't radically change how combat feels, what's the difference between bringing a behemoth or bringing the scions? Moving on, we have the Mass Carnival equivalent, the Crucible of the Unbroken. We don't have a lot of information on this yet, but like I said earlier, unless this game mode radically changes how the game is played, isn't this just Blue Mage again but with a stage progression system? This might be cool and all, but will it be any different? Or will it simply be more bring the right things to solve the puzzle and win like Carnival is? Also, do we really need more solo content in this game? 14 is an MMO. The second letter in that acronym is multiplayer, not solo. Is this going to be yet another piece of content that encourages or even requires players to not interact with each other? Wasn't this a major problem with how Endwalker's content was designed? Have they not learned their lesson? Everything shown here is explicitly stated to be solo content, from the Beast Collection to the Crucible. Now for the thing that brought me to make this video in the first place. One of the things that was directly promised and advertised as a selling point for Dawntrail, even if a minor one, was a Blue Mage update. It even was included in the special site all the way back before 7.0 launched. However, as you can now see, this has been postponed until the next expansion cycle. Why? Well, apparently Beastmaster took up so much development time that they had to cancel the Blue Mage update for Dawntrail. And yes, I'm using the word cancel intentionally. They did not move the update back. They did not postpone it. We all know that we will not be receiving an additional update in the next expansion cycle to make up for it. This is exactly what happened to the cancelled Ultimate in Shadowbreeders. We did not get a third Ultimate in Endwalker, we simply lost one. This is what will likely happen with the now cancelled Blue Mage update. They will release a single update in 8-point-something that we would have gotten anyways and pretend like the cancellation never happened. And this is my main issue with things like limited jobs. I'll be honest and put it out there that I never cared a whole lot about Blue Mage. I got all of the spells, cleared the Carnival, and that was it. But the issue isn't the content itself necessarily, but more how it's treated. We get a single update to Blue Mage every expansion. 1. Not only that, but the last 2 updates have quite frankly been pretty terrible. Yes, we get new spells, a title for doing old savages, and maybe a single new Carnival stage, but is that really it? For an update that comes only once in expansion? What that tells me is that Square doesn't consider Blue Mage as something worth investing significant development time into. Perhaps the updates we have gotten were merely to keep the small but vocal fanbase for Blue Mage from complaining. However, if that is the case, I have to ask, why make another one? Why make a second limited job? The track record of Blue Mage tells us that this job is destined to be largely abandoned, with a few small updates here and there. Why invest development time into this? Why not something that every job can do? Why not a third Occult Crescent Zone, or a second variant dungeon? Why make this when it's not going to be regularly updated outside of once an expansion? This is why I don't like limited jobs. They're a waste of development resources. We've already seen this happen with Blue Mage. Yes, there is a small but dedicated group of people who love Blue Mage. But let's be honest, brothers. Most people have little to no interest in Blue Mage outside of the spell collectathon. And why should they? Square doesn't give them a reason to be excited for new additions. Wow, a new title for doing a few Eden raids? Wow, a single puzzle fight in the Carnival? Wow, few new spells that compete for increasingly limited spell slots. If Square's not interested in properly supporting Blue Mage, that is fine. It wouldn't be the first content to receive that treatment. But why make another one? Why make this mistake again? Well, I guess I'll end it here. I really do hope that Beastmaster proves me wrong on this one, but I just don't see it. My prediction is that this will be another piece of side content that come next expansion cycle is largely ignored. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. With that said, this has been Lord Brodyark. Peace.